Mayor Jim Heigl joins us for a few minutes today. And Mayor, 4 years, time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
It does, and it has been fun, and I can't thank the people of Sylacauga enough for allowing me to serve you in my city. It's been a pleasure and an honor. We've come a long ways over these past 4 years. We had to, a lot of it was reactive, but now we're getting proactive, little by little, and that's where I want to go. And I'm asking for their vote for another 4 years where we can be more proactive.
Let's talk about the 4 years. A lot of accomplishments in the past 4 years.
Well, it has. You know, I made campaign promises in 2016 when I applied for this.
People don't forget those promises either, do they?
Well, I hope not, because we got over 30 miles of paving that had to be done. That had to be done. Every building we had that belongs to the city, like the City Hall, Library, Parks and Rec, these things had issues there. We got that out of the way. Now, we're going to be inspecting them every year, but we won't wind up having to react if something's going to go wrong. We're going to take care of it before it happens. Same thing with the softball complex. We had some bad issues out there with electrical things. Thank God that's behind us. We had issues with Lake Howard. When the first thing I came in, I asked the city clerk, said, let's get the council and the board of the utilities board together. That is a group that is over responsible for the Lake Howard. We got that all behind us. We got houses cleaned up, docks are cleaned up, the piers fixed up. We've added permanent bathrooms out there. For years, they went out there with porta toilets. That was against the law. After a certain length of time, you're not supposed to have those. But anyway, all that's behind us, thank God. And we still got some issues coming for us. We got over 11 streets, side streets, that we have to get paved. We got issues with drainage. I was able, thank God, with the help working with the city council, we got a new backhoe, track hoe, and a front end loader. The street department needed this badly. And another thing we're going to do, it's going to be on the agenda tonight, is going to be a 2-year biannual contract with somebody to help us with our green spaces and our horticultural areas, trimming trees. We got 9 areas throughout the city. This will relieve the city street department from having to do this. Contract it. And this will be a lot cheaper. There's no liability on the city. There's we won't have to use our people there, because work release, we used to use them. That's not an option anymore. They don't let these people out. And contracting it would be more efficient and do a lot better job.
Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl finishing up his 4th year, his first term mayor of the city of Sylacauga. Before we get back to the nuts and bolts of the city operations, talk about Jim Heigl a little bit. Who is Jim Heigl?
Who is Jim Heigl? He's been here for over 70 years. The only time I left this city was I went on active duty for 4 years. And I spent 2 of those years in South and Southeast Asia. And I've learned a lot. If anybody ever gets the opportunity to go in the military, they need to. But you cannot appreciate what you have here until you've gone out of this country and seen how other people live and have to live.
And you become emotional when you think about the freedoms that we have today, and sometimes how we just happenstance don't give a lot of credit to the freedoms we do have.
Well, I think we get too relaxed in our own atmosphere. You don't realize what's going on around us. I mean, it was heartbreaking to see little kids having to work before they can eat. Mm-hmm. And it's, you don't realize what it's like, and it's not their fault, it's governments and all that over there, but I want people to vote. You got an obligation to vote. That is your strength. If you don't, somebody's going to walk over you. I've seen it. I've seen it overseas where people didn't vote and they were controlled by the government. They had to depend on the government to eat. They had to depend on the government to do anything. And but do please vote.
Who is Jim Heigl's family?
Jim Heigl, well, my great-grandfather came here from Germany back in the mid-1800s. He came over here with his 2 oldest kids, and he got established over here, and then he sent for his wife, and the 2 younger kids came over here. And they came through Ellis Island, all that. I got all that in my genealogy, picked that up. Grandfather died at a fairly young age. He was on a fishing trip and he drowned. And so that put my father and my uncle, putting them in, had to go to work. My father told me, he said, I couldn't even speak English until I went to school. And that was surprising, because they're all German. But anyway, after all of them started with Kimberly Clark, great-grandfather, grandfather, and dad. He went from Neenah, Wisconsin, over to Niagara Falls, New York, from Niagara Falls, New York, down here to Kimberly Clark. And he came in as a first-line supervisor. And of course, I followed suit. I went to college a couple of years, didn't know what I wanted to do. I got my draft notice, and I jumped on that, and sent me to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, field artillery. But I had pretty well made when I went into basic training. They got me a platoon guy because I had a couple of years of college. So I had a 4 squad under me. That was real interesting in learning leadership and all. Fort Sill, Oklahoma, I was going to go airborne. Got up there, me and a buddy were going airborne. I woke up one morning and said, my gosh, this is not for me. And I said, I went to see a recruiter. I said, what else do you have? He looked up in my file and said, hey, we need you in the Signal Corps. God, we got a class starting Monday morning. You got to go there. We got to get you. You sign up for that. We're going to discharge you for 24 hours and swear you back into the military as a regular Army. That was U.S. then, and regular Army. And I said, that's great, I'll take it. So I got up there and sent me back to Fort Gordon, Georgia, to school. This was scary. This was around October '62 when the Cuban crisis was going on. The blockade, schools, we had about 4 schools below us. They were, I forget exactly what they were, but they started shutting them down, and these guys were going out for field equipment, bringing their weapons in there, getting them clean, getting them ready, and they were getting ready to ship out. We saw several buses and truckloads of deuce and a half and buses of troops going out with their equipment. And it came to our school there, and they were told to stand up and say, get your equipment, you've issued your weapons, get everything cleaned up, field equipment, get ready to go out to the firing range. Thank God. That was scary. You know, 90 miles across the water there in the Gulf. And we were all thinking like we were big shots, but we weren't. We were all worried about this. But thank God, the Cuban crisis, the Russian ships turned around with their missiles and everything else, and we were told to step down. But we had to go back and make up those 3 days that we lost, you know, in signal school. But went in there, went through signal school there, and there's 4 of us in this MOS I had. It's went to the captain, pick up our travel orders and everything else. And the captain looks at him, flying, nobody flies to California, everybody goes by train. I said, yes, sir. I was a PFC at that time because I just got my mosquito wings and I had prior service with the field artillery. And so they put me in charge, and I said, yes, sir, if that's what you say. He said, well, I'm going to check on it. He picks up the phone, and he said, I got 4 people here with this MOS, They said they got them flying to San Francisco. And he says, yes, sir. I said, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And he hung up the phone and said, here's your travel orders, here's your flight tickets. Carry us over to Atlanta. They flew us out to California. We got to spend 2 nights and 3 days in California.
Obviously.
What there was, we had to get there before that ship left. Our MOS was needed in Southeast Asia, and we had to be there, and they couldn't take a chance on us being delayed by train, so that's how that
obviously your military background has been a plus for you, and you love this country, and that brings you back here to your hometown, Sylacauga.
It does. Like I said, what really brings you when you go outside this country and see how other people have to live and how the government's work and everything. I was in Okinawa one time there, and the communists were marching. It was their May Day program there. And we got an emergency call to Kadena. They had trouble with the missile. This was our work security communications over there between the missile sites and the launch pads and the firing bases. And we had to go all the way around that island, all the way back around to miss those communists. But we couldn't interfere with them regardless of the situation. But that's the kind of stuff you had to put up with.
Wow. When you became mayor 4 years ago, you knew then that this paving project is before us.
Ooh,
and knew that we were going to have to do something, and it was going to cost money.
I'm sure it was. And I knew where the money was at. When I came in, Bob Green got me into coming to council meetings and work sessions back in, I think it was 2006, and learning about it. And then I started going to all the board meetings that the council appoints. And started getting to know what was going on in our city. And the more I knew about it, and then I got elected in 2008, And of course, the economy took a dive, and we kept working with the city clerk and everything, checking out. Said, well, hey, we got 5-year bonds over here that do. These bonds up here were a 9 or 10% and 12%, you know. I said, well, to go ahead and renew them bonds and get at a lower interest rate. When we did that, we had enough money to pay off all the Avondale property that the city had purchased. A lot of it was given to us, but we purchased some. What was paying for those properties before was the $2 million we got from the hospital. The interest off of that, we're taking that and paying off that. Now we've been able to take that interest off that $2 million and put it in the kitty. And just stuff like that. And then, of course, we got the bonds. We got a terrific A+ rating. We got an A+ financial rating. Mm-hmm. I've gone through these bonds twice already, you know, signing these bonds, and we got a darn good rating for our city of our size. And that means a lot. We got credit. We got something to fall back on if we absolutely had to. But we got money in the bank.
The road resurfacing, the street resurfacing, they were such in dire straits, and we've been able to keep them in pretty good shape by putting some teeth in the laws about these big trucks, and you know they're trying to get their job done, but it takes a team working together. Absolutely. Your executive and legislative branches of your city government have to work together to get anything done. The mayor, executive director, I'm over all the departments. We got 7 departments. I also I have the opportunity to appoint the 5 members of the Housing Authority, plus the 7 members of the Planning Commission. These are 2 very important commissions. We had some issues with the Housing Authority, as you know, about a year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I was able to appoint 3 people to that board. And now the Housing Authority in that area over there, those issues are gone behind us. And the Planning Commission, those 7 members there, I got some good people on that Planning Commission there, with people with experience and years of knowledge and community service. And Cecil Anderson, just to mention one, Citizen of the Year, she's so up on everything that we're doing. And we got the comprehensive plan. We got it. It's ready to go. When NEMAC calls me and comes out there and wants me to explain to their bankers what asset is NEMAC to the city of Sylacauga, now I can tell them, here it is, the Planning Commission laid out. These are the people we're having to serve. Mm-hmm. These are our issues and everything. This is all of our utilities and everything else. What a big market that you help us bring these jobs in here to help us make our city grow. We faced challenges in 2020. None of us anticipated COVID-19, and that's really threw a wrench in the wheel, as it might say. But you know, we're working hard with the state, with the government agencies, to make sure that everybody stays safe as possible. Well, absolutely, Jim Dale. What we have to depend on is the federal and the state. We're adhering to the governor's directive. She's got people out there looking at this. She knows what's coming down the pipeline from the government and everything else. This is what they're finding the best way to protect ourselves. And just like Jeff, the nurse at our hospital there, he's over disease control. We communicate right now. Well, in about 15 minutes, we'll find out, you know, where our city stands. We have community leaders that come together Tuesdays and Thursday mornings to discuss these issues. This includes the SAFE, the fire department, the hospitals, also the Chamber of Commerce. I mean, people like that are coming together, and we're keeping up with this thing. We're meeting and talking with each other. What do we do? What do we have to plan for tomorrow? You're one of the guys that likes to get out in the community. I do. And like to talk to people. Well, I do, but you know, the mayor's a full-time job. My door is always open. I may not be there every minute of the day, but I do have to get out once in a while. But I do enjoy the people, and that's what makes our city so wonderful. We've got some great people here in Sylacauga, and people want to see our city grow. And it's just, people make the difference. And it has, our city has grown, Mayor. It has, and we're not finished growing yet. A couple of weeks ago, I signed off on a plat. Hutton has resurveyed their properties out there. They got about 3 big sections of property they resurveyed. That's going to be growth for us. It's coming. So, for people who are watching today and saying, well, Mayor, explain a little bit more about that 280 corridor and what the future may hold there. Well, the future is going to be more growth. At least you won't have to run up to Birmingham or up to Inverness to go to certain places to
shop and eat and all that. You'll have some of it down here. And well, Plastic Cal, that's a brand new. They just started this year. They should be going in operation. There's calcium carbonate using it. Calcium carbonate's going in and out of here for industrial use, for commercial use. And we still have our arts, our Sylacauga Marble Quarry for the arts. I hate we couldn't have our Marble Fest last year, but hopefully we'll have it coming up next year. But we got many opportunities here. We lost Kimberly Clark, yes, we lost Avondale Mills, yes, but calcium carbonate is very versatile and we can use it. Avondale, we accumulate all those streets over there at Avondale Mills, the Twin Street area and everything else. It's a shame people didn't keep them up over the years. A lot of people, well, when they grew up, they just moved off and just left it, you know. So no, but now we're going to get it cleaned up. It's going to take a little bit of time. People talk about the E.B. Jane Mill. E.B. Jane Mill is property that belongs to the county. The county took that in. They want to clean it up and use it for a sports facility for B.B. Comer School, which is a great idea, but it's going to take a little bit of time to do it. I know it's an eyesore now, but we're eating away at it.
How about the downtown portion?
Downtown, I tell you, our code department and what they've done and pushed for the council agreeing to our new rules and regulations. You know, now you can go out to have a building there, 2-story building. You can live upstairs, run your business downstairs. You can take it upstairs and lease it or rent it out, whatever you want to do.
And you can see it happening right before your eyes every day.
It's happening. Look what Alan Sanders is doing right over there with the old Stanton building. Look what he's done with the Ritz. Look what they've done with Pizzas and Pine. Look what they did with the old Marble City Grill. I mean, these are buildings and it's just amazing what we can do. And I'm just looking forward to it.
As the mayor of Sylacauga for the last 4 years, we've talked about some of the accomplishments, and those are just a few of the accomplishments taking place under Mayor Heigl's leadership. Being a leader in Sylacauga, it takes us all to make the difference.
Yeah, it's no man's an island. It takes everybody. Like I said, your executive and legislative branch need to work together. I go to the council for monies. Right now, we're into our budget. I got 7 departments. We've got we're working our budgets now. I got to know exactly how much money each one of these departments have to make it through the next year. And we depend on the council to provide that amount of money. Now, the council and appropriations, that's different. They can appropriate the money anywhere they want to, you know. But I have to have so much money to operate our business, to provide the best service we possibly can to the citizens of Sylacauga.
You feel comfortable with our finances in the city?
I am. But yeah, I'm satisfied with them. We haven't been throwing our money away or unnecessary. We are spending a lot of money on engineering right now. I hope that plan comes out, you know. But anyway, I got EEF&S. Michael Rice will be down here tomorrow at 1 o'clock. We're going to talk to him about the Peyton Boulevard area, and he's got that part of it. ED&T, they're the ones over the Parks and Rec looking at our LWCF grants and other grants and for this swimming pool and this other stuff they got going on. But I worked with Michael. He's the one that's got our 30 miles of road, and he did a terrific job on it. And I'm just proud of what that young man's done. And he's the one that's got me into LDOT to get enough revenue to pave Peyton Boulevard. Now, we got to go back there in September and talk to LDOT again. We have another appointment with them because LDOT's going to come in here and redo the James Peyton and the Gene Stewart intersections.
That'd be a big plus there.
And also, yesterday I just got notice that we got the bonds or the grants for the cross on the railroad track on Gene Stewart Boulevard. They're going to put the crosswalks and all that in there. And I'm sure they'll fix the railroad will come in there and fix the crossing. It's pretty rough right now. But paving, we were able to keep the 18-wheelers off our main areas where they don't need to be unless they have local delivery. People complain about one day in garbage pickup. You put those trucks, I don't know how much they weigh, over 5 tons, I'm sure. But already we got depressions in our streets. We're going to have to go back and dig these depressions out and build them up because this is where the garbage trucks stop. Now you do that twice a week and it's going to be twice as bad. But right now it's just once a week. And if you've got that much garbage, ask for another can. You can get another can. Recycle, I was asked about recycle. As far as I know, they're still picking up my recycle. They're picking up everybody's recycle. What they do with it, say, well, I heard this, I heard that. Well, show me. I haven't seen it. And they're taking they tell us we're picking up the recycle. No, the market's not all that great, but we're carrying it to the recycle bin. We're dumping it all out there in a big concrete slab. We're separating it. But if you start putting your garbage in there, like Lee Perryman mentioned about pizza boxes, it's contaminated cardboard. You can't use that. Now, if there's too much in there, they're going to throw that whole thing out and they'll carry that to the dump because they're losing money.
You mentioned something a little bit earlier that's really a topic of conversation, and that is the swimming pool and a possible splash pad and a possible building of a new recreational facility. Your thoughts on all of this?
Beth Yates sent me to Brevard, North Carolina when I was in junior high school. I became a water safety instructor, and I worked as a lifeguard at municipal pool up there.
A few years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it wasn't all that long. Seemed like it was just yesterday, you know. But it was enjoyable up there, and same thing. Earl Lewis went through the same thing. Of course, he's about 4 or 5 years older than I was, but we taught. I'll tell you this one. Him and Robert Parrott, and gosh, I'll think of the other one in a minute here. But every summer, we come up there and start teaching some classes. They get all the young girls and pretty girls. Hey, Heigl, there's your group over there.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was funny, you know.
Nothing like love, is it?
No, but we did, a lot of people learned to swim, and I enjoyed it. We need a pool. We ought to have what they call this pool up here, what it is, they put up a wall and they put concrete and some kind of fiber in there, but I think every 4 to 5 years it has to be redone and all. It's just, I don't think we properly took care of our pool. Whether it can go back in there and drain it out and dry it out and redo it and get it ready for next year, I hope we can do it. I know it's going to be at least a couple $100,000 to do that. Yes, I would like to have a nice sports facility. We need it. We need an indoor pool. Our pools provide so much, not only for swimming teams, but for recreational people. But you know the number of elderly people that get into our pools there and just walk. These are for cardiac and arthritic pains that they have. Now they're having to go to Talladega during the winter months. Well, of course, this summer they have no choice but to go up there all the time. But Talladega's got an indoor pool. We need it. It's a matter of planning and planning it right. Don't wait until something's happened and then come up, well, if you don't get some money here, we're going to have to do this or that. The other. That's not fair. We need to be proactive. Hey, how are you doing? What's the condition? Yes, well, yeah, we got this issue here. All right, let's look at, see what we can do to repair it and all this stuff. You plan ahead. If we knew about these issues with the pool maybe 2 or 3 years ago, we wouldn't have it. You know, we need to plan ahead.
You're not afraid to walk by yourself with your feelings and with your thoughts and with your experience. Sometimes, you know, the mayor's office is a lonely road to walk.
Well, it is, but I have some wonderful people come in my office. Like I said, my door's open all the time. I'm available. Like I said, it's a full-time job. I get calls in the evening, at night. I get them on weekends and everything else. But I enjoy serving my city, and I enjoy serving the people of Sylacauga. We got a lot coming here. We got great opportunities, and I want to take advantage of it. But just like when I started the breakfast for the industries, you know, to understand their issues, and they say, well, we need skilled labor and electricians, millwrights, pipe fitters. I said, okay, let's go over here and let's talk to the workforce development over here in the high schools, and they carry stuff so in the high school and shows what they got. My grandson, he took machinist in the senior year. He loved it. So he went to trade school and started learning. The company's already hired him, and he hadn't even graduated. He won't graduate till this fall. And he's been working for that company for over a year. And these are the kind of kids, these are about 20-25% of our graduates from Sylacauga High School and other schools, probably Coburn too, that will not be going to college. And this is a great opportunity to get them into the trades, keep them here in Sylacauga.
Talk quickly about the census, Mayor.
We are in trouble. We are on 61.1%. Please, if you have not applied for your census, please do. We're hurting. We're talking about billions of dollars for the state. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars for our city. It's so important. But 884-330-2020. All you have to do is call that number and if you have not turned in your census yet, call them and ask them. We're hurting. They are going door to door now. Census takers are going door to door now. But like I say, this is money. We already 2015 TAP grants out of the way. We finished that job up there in front of City Hall and the library. Now we got 2018 from 5th Street to 6th Street in 2019, which will start on the backside of to beautify the backside of stores and make that somewhat of a main entrance for the retailers, for merchants to come in. And we're wanting to go to 2020. Now, if this census comes out, we don't get the money down here from ADECA, we may not be able to apply for these. We may lose these, and this is 80% money that we're getting free, and we put up 20% of the matching of it. But we need the people to make sure they are counted. It's very important.
Final few minutes with Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl. What are a couple of things that you see that you'd like to continue working on and to accomplish for the next 4 years?
Avondale area, get that cleaned up there. We got a good sports facility out there. We need to expand that. A lot of the stuff, I can express my opinion, but it really depends on the council working together to make these things happen. The councils go over all the money in the city and all the properties. I cannot remove anything from property without going to the council first. Somebody said, well, why did you do this? Why did you move these trees? I said, I didn't remove the tree. Well, you knew about it. I said, it doesn't make any difference. I do not have that authority. I am governed by the Alabama State Constitution. Well, of course, the city council is too. And, but we do have to work together to make things happen. But I want to say, still got some more paving we got to do. We got some subdivisions out here in Taylor Estates and other places. Like, we got to get in there and get those streets fixed up. It's, in my opinion, it's just like if you don't keep this thing cleaned up, you let it run down, you're going to depreciate the value of this place over here. And the city needs to do its part, keeping this outward appearance up. That's the reason I want to go through this biannual contract, somebody to keep our outward appearance up, even our welcome signs, all that area is all covered under. That's what I'm requesting for the city. And but we got a lot to do yet.
Why should people go to the poll in the city of Sylacauga and re-elect Jim Heigl for mayor?
First of all, you have an obligation to vote. That's your strength. That's your word. I've spent the past 4 years, I spent from 2008 to 2012 on the city council president. We didn't get a whole lot done then, but we did get some. Passing of Sam Wright, God rest his soul, I was able to fill in for his years, his last few months in office. I was out for 4 years, and I came back again into the city of Sylacauga as mayor because I saw things I wanted to get done and things I felt like needed to be done. And there's still more to be done. I have the knowledge, I got the experience, I've got the contacts, and I know how the system works. And I need your vote for 4 more years of good progress for the city of Sylacauga.
Thank you, Mayor Heigl.
Thank you.
Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl with us on this edition of our look at the election coming up on August the 25th. And make sure that you get the polls and vote, and we'll have voter coverage for you here on WOTM television. Mayor, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. We got a great city. Let's keep it great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching today.
It has been a pleasure and an honor to serve the citizens of Sylacauga these past 4 years. I, Jim Heigl, am seeking re-election to the office of mayor. During this administration, I have accomplished my campaign promises that I made to you in 2016 and even more. Let's keep Sylacauga moving forward. I'm asking for your vote and influence with other voters to re-elect me for 4 more years of progress.